Aloha! This is a presentation recorded for the HFNA Growers Research Update Seminar on September 26, 2025 in Hilo, Hawaii, organized by the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association. The topic of this presentation is CTAHR Oahu County Extension Updates, especially related to the Lei Industry Extension Program. My name is Alberto Ricordi, and I am an extension agent in Oahu for the ornamentals and landscape industry with CTAHR, University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resilience, Oahu County. The Lei Industry Extension Program can be organized in 3 phases. Phase 1 was to build the infrastructure that was required and necessary in order to do plant propagation so that the project can provide stock material and start plants for the new and the existing growers that join this project. Another important aspect of phase 1 was to form a lei coalition. The lei coalition is the group, the organization formed by growers, lei makers, and the technical support behind the scenes like me. And this lei coalition was managed and organized by the Lei Poinaole project. The Lei Poinaole project helped farmers with prepare a plan for their farms, even with budget and how to fit themselves in this lei industry. Another collaborator that was very important in phase 1 and still important is the Pua Culture. Pua Culture is an organization led by Auntie Sylvia Kopp. And the importance of Pua Culture is the Hawaiian cultural importance of the pua, like the flowers, the materials that we used for lei, and the lei method used for making lei. So Auntie Sil and other lei makers that support Pua Culture, they came to UDC and through workshops or lei making days, they taught people how to use the different flowers and make the different styles of leis. And I will talk more about that as we move forward. Another very important partner or collaborator was the Kama'aina communities. Kama'aina communities helped a lot with outreach, getting the message out, telling people about this project, and getting message in from the people that were trying to accomplish what this project is doing, but were having challenges. So it was a very important avenue for communication. So that was phase 1, and we consider it complete because we are now actively doing plant propagation. So we passed the phase of building a greenhouse, setting up a propagation benches, getting stock material. We are now into the scale phase. And we also have the coalition formed. We have over 40 growers, members of this coalition. I'll talk more about later. So we consider this phase 1 complete. Phase 2 is where I'm focusing now is propagation in scale to support the existing growers and to provide materials for new growers and to develop protocols so that people can repeat what we do at UDC in their nursery. And phase 3 also will be always ongoing, is to address the needs of the growers through research to be able to optimize propagation, manage pest and disease, test like trial or different cultivars, new introductions, and to evaluate shelf life of the different lei materials and cultivars. to be able to give data-based recommendations. This was the timeline that I've been working with. So the project started in 2024. It started with the establishment of a partnership, a formal MOU with the Leipo Inaole project, and it coincided with the beginnings of the workshops at UGC led by NTCU. So since January 2024, when we formed the partnership with Leipo Inaole project, NTCU also started to lead workshops on lei making at UGC. In July 2024, we had the teachers lei crash course at UGC. 22 teachers joined this program. It was 4 days that we met once a week at UGC for the entire day. And the goal was that these teachers or educators of communities, they would go back to their schools or their communities and assist or lead the development of new lei gardens, literally planting lei gardens, with the goal of May 2025, there would be lei gardens in these communities for them to harvest and make lei from their own gardens. And with that, encourage people to get into the actual business of lei. The Teachers Lei Summer Series was very successful. So in August 2024, we started a monthly lei plant propagation and lei making workshop at UGC. We had almost 60 registrations. So because we can only afford 20 to 25 people per session because of space, we offer 2 cohorts. So every first and second Wednesday of the month, we host workshops where for about 1 hour we would be in the nursery propagating plants and teaching the participants how to propagate the plants that we worked with. And in the classroom, in the AC, NTCU would teach the use of those plants in lei. So for example, in August, we propagated crownflower. So in September, the crownflower cuttings were rooted, and NTCU taught how to make crownflower lei because it coincides in September is the birthday of the Queen Liliuokalani. So that was always a horticultural, like production component and a cultural component in these workshops. And they were held from August until May. It was a very successful and it went very well. People really enjoy it, and we still have some of these people coming now on a regular basis whenever we have workshops. And then since October 2024, I started to focus more on the production of lei plants because after we stopped the workshops in May because of May Day, right, graduation time, and after that we stopped the monthly workshops and I start to focus more on the actual demands or problems that people brought to the table that I wanted to work on. And this is the greenhouse that I have, a part of the greenhouse that I have at UGC. This is my mist propagation table. It's actually a fogger. So translating now all these, I told you the story, right, on how we developed this lei extension program. Now in numbers, we had over 50 events since we started. We had those 4 workshops presented by NTCU before we started the formal course, the formal summer course and propagation series, because we wanted to like test the waters. We had the 2024 HFNA Teachers Program where I participated, and a lot of people that attended a lot of teachers that attended this HFNA program signed up for the summer session that we offered in 2024. So I'm very glad that HFNA offered that teachers workshop because it really uh, sparked the interest of the teachers and made the connection, right? So they started to come to the workshops. So we had the summer session that had summer series that had 4 sessions. Then we had the monthly workshops. So there were 18 workshops total. We had 2 fern workshops led by Kay Lynch. It was not specifically for lay, but the reason we brought Kay Lynch is because a lot of people have questions about palapalai, kupu-kupu, and other native ferns. So it was very good to have Kay Lynch, and then after that we did the fern propagation workshop. That was actually before the summer series. Since June, I have been doing these brown bags. The brown bags is I have an online form where people submit questions related to gardening or growing plants with a focus on lay plants. So people sign up, submit their questions, and then I schedule a webinar every 2 months or so to answer the top 3 questions, let's say, and people can ask questions. It's a live webinar. So it's a brown bag interactive, like talking story, but I prepare an actual presentation for it. And it has been very good because it's questions that people actually have and they submit their questions and I answer the questions as they are submitted. It has been very good. I also have been doing a lot of events in conjunction, like in partnership with other programs. So like I participated in some of the Go Farm, Agri-Florist cohorts. We had a Master Gardener program group that focused on plumeria. So I worked with them for about 8 weeks, tending the plumeria collection in Waimanalo. Just in September 13th, there was a workshop, more like a nursery tour to answer questions for people setting up their own greenhouses as part of the second Master Gardener second Saturday at the Urban Garden Center. So we have had a lot of activity. And when I multiplied the length of these activities by the number of people that attended them, I got a roughly 2,000 attendees hour from January 2024 to September 2025. So, and the Lepo Inaole project has 48 active growers because what happens a lot is that people come to these events, they become interested, or they are already a grower, they were just like not formally signed up or having a business. And the Lepo Inaole project helps them with setting up a greenhouse, buying supplies to, for example, install irrigation, trellises, and channel requests for locally made lay to these members of the coalition. So it has been very good. It has kept me busy for sure. So I told you all the good stories, all the good side of it, but there are also some challenges. I think the main challenge I have is that I'm the only agent in Oahu for the ornamentals and landscape industry. And Oahu has 5 times the population of the other islands. We have about 1 million people in Oahu. So I get very spread very thin sometimes in terms of geographically because I have to cover the whole island. So It's not uncommon for me to be in the morning in Waimanalo, in the afternoon on the North Shore, and end my day on the west side. So it's a lot of driving time that I could be actually doing like work in the greenhouse or work writing or answering requests, but I'm driving around, so that takes a lot of time. And we don't have a lot of field support because our staff is very limited. So I have to rely on volunteers, which are great. I'm very thankful for having them. A lot of the volunteers are people that come to the workshops. Also, the Hele Imua interns. We started to hire at UGC. They are hired through the Department of Labor, and they have helped a lot. So, for example, in these pictures, I'm showing you how the plumeria collection that I have at UGC started. So, in January 2023, Kalani High School helped with planting. Spring 2025, it was getting covered by weeds. It was very hard to manage everything by myself and traveling for conferences and driving all over the place. Then in June 2025, the Staff Sergeant Parker Gordon Fox Grant at the Child and Family Service came to UGC, a group of about 15 people, and they whipped through the garden and took all the weeds, and it was very nice and clean. And then the Hele Imua intern, Daryl, who has been amazing at assisting with all this project propagation, maintenance of the plots. She helped with prepare with mats, and we had a work day. And now the collection has been kept nice and clean since July, mostly with the work of volunteers. So it's very good. And the collection now is very flourishing, as you can see. So this is Caneohe Sunburst, one of the cultivars that we have in this collection. It's a collection of plumeria selected specifically for lei. They have thick petals that are good for flowers that are good for making lei. So in summary, the goal number one, or the phase one, was to form the infrastructure for plant propagation to support the coalition that was formed also in Goal 1. And the coalition was managed mostly by the Leipo Inaole project. So we formed the Leipo Inaole coalition. Lei makers, lei growers, enthusiasts, and volunteers that attended the workshop. So that was goal number one. It's like forming the structure of the lei industry extension program. Now, goal number two is to really scale up and become very good at propagating plants. So I've been doing a lot of trials, and that's where Daryl, that I mentioned, has been helping a lot, is with preparing, running trials to develop protocols on propagation of these lei plants. So we're doing trials with different cutting types, different cutting sizes, different rooting hormones, propagation timelines, different fertilizing and media management, and with that, pest control. Because as we start to grow a lot of these plants, we start to have pest problems. So this is an example. We did like a protocol for plumeria propagation, and we have a CTAHR extension publication being prepared now. It's already submitted. It's in press. It's in the communications office. And all these other plants. So we had done trials already on Palapalai, Pacalana, Puakinikini, Plumeria, Puhinahina, Crownflower, Pikake, Ilima, Huapala, Hoya, and a lot of other plants that as I go throughout the place and all over the place, I always come back with some plants in my truck. and I put in the greenhouse. Mini rows, I forgot to add here, but a lay grower asked me to propagate mini rows after Mother's Day, like the spray rows. So it got it's getting better and better, the protocol, getting more and more success. So let's go number 2. Now, next steps, like I mentioned, is for propagation, optimize protocol, scaled up to meet the demand of growers, and in the process of scaled up to supply plants to growers, train interns or students or whoever wants to learn this and train propagators so they can become self-sufficient. It's not my goal to keep supplying cuttings forever, but it's part of the process. Pest control. We have, for example, a big problem with Plumeria longhorn beetle. So I'm testing a trapping system using pheromones, and a lot of people have reported, and I had myself problems with crown flowers, caterpillars. I lost a lot of crown flower cuttings that were looking beautiful, but then in a matter of days they got wiped out by caterpillars, the monarch butterfly. So how to manage that? A lot of people are having problems with peacock thrips, and then when they use insecticides or a pesticide, sometimes the flowers lose the fragrance, the scent. So that's something to work on. And also I want to do post-harvest data, like shelf life, compare and determine shelf life for traditional crops and compare different cultivars and different introductions. For example, Allison Higgins from Grace Flowers Hawaii gave me some cuttings of this very beautiful crown flower that has this pink, like violet tint to it. So a lot of people bring their different puakinikinis. One is bigger than the other. Their Whoever brings their flowers, it's always better than what is out there. So I want to make sure I can test them and do some trials to get data that I can share with people to provide some data-based information. And I'm very thankful for all these people like Allison, Chad, Shannon Olivado that share their plans with me to do my trials. Thank you very much. Mahalo to all the collaborators that have been supporting this project. I want to thank HFNA, Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association, for organizing this seminar and for all the other events that support the Hawaii's floriculture and ag industry, the Hawaii Farm Bureau, LEACH, Landscape Industry Council of Hawaii, the Waimanalo Agricultural Association, Go Farm Hawaii, and especially I want to thank the Leipo Inaole Project, Pua Culture, and Kamaaina communities for your active involvement and support of this project. I also want to thank CTAHR Oahu County staff and volunteers for all the support, keeping up this project, the greenhouse and the trial areas, my fellow extension agents, and the Hele Imua interns. Again, mahalo. My email is albertoh@hawaii.edu. If you have any questions regarding lake plants or anything related to ornamentals and landscape, you can send me an email and I'll try my best to assist you. Mahalo.